Well folks, hold on to your wallets because the former guy is back with a familiar tune: tariffs. That's right, Donald Trump, in a move that surprised absolutely no one, has announced a fresh round of tariffs on goods from, insert dramatic pause, China. This time he claims it's different. This time it's personal. This time it's going to make America great again. But before we all start stockpiling ramen noodles and building bunkers in our backyards, let's try to break down what these tariffs actually mean for you, the average American just trying to survive in this wild economy of 2025. Because honestly, understanding tariffs can feel like trying to decipher ancient hieroglyphics while riding a unicycle on a tightrope. It's confusing, it's stressful, and there's a good chance you'll end up with a headache. But fear not, dear reader, because we're going to dive headfirst into this economic mosh pit together. And who knows, maybe, just maybe, we'll emerge from the other side slightly less confused and slightly more prepared for whatever economic curveballs the world throws our way. So what exactly are tariffs anyway? In the simplest terms, they're taxes on imported goods. Think of them like little border walls for products, except instead of keeping people out, they make things more expensive. The idea is that if you slap a tariff on, say, Chinese-made sneakers, they become pricier than American-made ones, encouraging people to buy domestic and boosting local businesses. It's a tactic as old as time, or at least as old as international trade. Now, presidents have used tariffs for ages to protect domestic industries, sometimes sparking trade wars, basically, economic slapfights between countries. Remember that whole thing with the steel tariffs a few years back? Yeah, good times. Trump, of course, is a big fan of tariffs. He sees them as his trusty weapon in his never-ending quest to renegotiate trade deals and bring back manufacturing jobs. Whether that strategy actually works is a topic for another day, or, a team of economists with way more brainpower than me. The point is, tariffs are back, baby, and they're here to shake things up for better or for worse. Buckle up, Buttercup. It's gonna be a bumpy ride. All right, let's get down to brass tacks. What exactly is on Trump's tariff hit list this time around? Well, surprise, surprise, it's a lot of the usual suspects. We're talking electronics, folks. Think smartphones, laptops, those fancy Bluetooth toasters that let you burn your bread remotely. But it's not just gadgets feeling the heat. Trump's also targeting a whole bunch of Chinese-made components used in American manufacturing, which means things could get pricey for businesses, and eventually for us consumers. Oh, and did we mention solar panels? Yeah, those are on the chopping block too. Now, the exact percentage of these tariffs is still a bit hazy. Trump loves to keep everyone guessing, like some kind of reality TV show host announcing which contestant is getting voted off the island. But experts are predicting tariffs could range anywhere from 10% to a whopping 25%. So, yeah, not exactly chump change. And while the tariffs primarily target China, some countries caught in the crossfire supply those Chinese factories. It's like a messy economic domino effect. And guess who's at the end of the line? You guessed it, us. Now you might be wondering, why China? And why now? Well, the why is a tangled web of political maneuvering, economic anxieties, and good old-fashioned rivalry. See, Trump's been on a mission to reduce the trade deficit with China. Basically, we buy a whole lot more from them than they do from us. He sees this imbalance as a threat to American jobs and economic dominance. Add to that the ongoing tensions over intellectual property rights, technological competition, and let's not forget the whole global pandemic thing, and you've got yourself a recipe for some serious economic friction. The timing of these new tariffs is interesting too. Some analysts believe it's no coincidence they come just as the 2024 election cycle is heating up. Could this be a strategic move to appeal to his base and paint himself as the ultimate defender of American interests? Well, duh, this is Trump we're talking about. The man practically invented the art of the politically timed economic power move. The economy on tariffs, a rollercoaster ride. Okay, so we've covered the what and the why of these new tariffs. Now let's talk about the oh crap, what does this mean for the economy part? The truth is, the economic impact of tariffs is rarely straightforward. It's kind of like trying to predict the weather. You can look at the models, analyze the data, but ultimately, Mother Nature, or in this case, the global economy, does what it wants. On the one hand, tariffs can protect domestic industries and potentially even create jobs. But on the other hand, they can also lead to higher prices for consumers, retaliation from other countries, trade wars, and uncertainty in the market. Remember what happened the last time Trump imposed tariffs? prices went up, businesses struggled, and the stock market had a collective panic attack. It wasn't pretty. And while some economists argue that these new tariffs are different, that they're more targeted and strategic, others are skeptical. They worry that this could be the start of a slippery slope toward a full-blown trade war, one that could have devastating consequences for the global economy. From groceries to gas, feeling the pinch at the checkout. Okay, enough about the macroeconomics, let's talk about what really matters, your wallet. Because let's be real, that's where most of us feel the impact of these economic policies the most. The bad news is these new tariffs are likely to hit your pocketbook in a bunch of different ways. Remember those electronics we talked about? Yeah, get ready to shell out some extra cash for your next smartphone upgrade or laptop purchase. But it's not just big-ticket items that will feel the pinch. Those tariffs on Chinese components? Yeah, those could trickle down to everything from cars to clothing, making your everyday purchases more expensive. And don't even get me started on groceries. Remember when a gallon of milk cost, like, a normal amount? Well, those days might be over if these tariffs lead to higher transportation and production costs. So, yeah, things could get a little or a lot more expensive for the average American. And while the Trump administration insists these tariffs are necessary to protect American jobs and interests, it's hard not to feel like we're the ones footing the bill. Politicians and economists react. A chorus of disagreement. As you might imagine, these new tariffs have sparked a whole lot of debate and disagreement among politicians and economists. It's like watching a tennis match, except instead of a ball, they're volleying economic theories back and forth. On one side of the court, you have the Trump supporters, who argue that these tariffs are a long overdue response to China's unfair trade practices. They claim that these measures are necessary to protect American jobs, reduce the trade deficit, and bring back manufacturing to the U.S. On the other side, you have a chorus of critics, including many Democrats and even some Republicans, who argue that these tariffs are a reckless gamble that could backfire spectacularly. They worry that these tariffs will harm American consumers, hurt businesses, and ignite a global trade war. And then you have the economists, who are, as always, divided in their opinions. Some agree with the Trump administration's stance, while others predict dire consequences for the global economy. It's enough to make your head spin. The bottom line is, there's no clear consensus on whether these tariffs are a good idea or a terrible one. Only time will tell what the ultimate impact will be. The global backlash, retaliation, and trade wars. Of course, it wouldn't be a Trump-era trade policy without a little international drama, would it? And as you might expect, these new tariffs have been met with swift condemnation and threats of retaliation from China and other countries. China, in particular, has vowed to respond with its own tariffs on American goods, potentially targeting key exports like agricultural products and automobiles. And let's just say, American farmers and automakers are not exactly thrilled about the prospect of getting caught in the crossfire of this trade war. But it's not just China that's feeling the heat. Other countries are also feeling the squeeze as global supply chains are disrupted and the threat of a trade war looms large. The European Union, Canada, and Mexico have all expressed concerns and hinted at potential retaliatory measures. The whole situation is a bit like a game of economic chicken, with each country trying to outmaneuver the other and avoid getting run over. But as we all know, playing chicken is a dangerous game, and the consequences of a crash could be catastrophic. The tariff takeaway, your wallet in the crosshairs. So there you have it, folks. The lowdown on Trump's new tariffs. Are they a brilliant strategic move to revitalize American manufacturing and restore economic dominance? Or are they a reckless gamble that could trigger a global recession and leave American consumers holding the bag? Honestly, nobody knows for sure. The truth is, the economic impact of these tariffs is complex and far-reaching, and it will likely be years before we fully understand the consequences. But one thing is certain, these tariffs are going to have a real impact on your life, whether it's through higher prices at the checkout, uncertainty in the job market, or a general feeling of economic anxiety. So, what can you do? Well, for starters, stay informed. Pay attention to the news, read articles like this one, and educate yourself about the potential impacts of these tariffs. And most importantly, don't panic. Remember, the economy is a complex beast, and it's been through its fair share of ups and downs. We'll get through this together. Just maybe keep a few extra bucks stashed away, just in case.